Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin, delighted to have your company tonight on the show. We've got three guests for you: Alan Rough, Barry Ferguson, and I'm delighted to say part of that Scotland winning squad that are going to the World Cup in France next year. Leanne Crichton is with us, and I have to say we've got lots to discuss. There's been celebrations, the goals, everything to talk about. Pioneers in the women's game. Leanne will give us an insight into the squad and how they're feeling. Have they come off cloud nine? Here's also what we're going to be talking about in the news. Okay, let's cut to the chase. How are you feeling?
Over the moon, yeah, really happy. I think it's not quite sunk in yet. It's been a long day of travel after the game. We've travelled since the early hours of the morning, but everybody's kind of get through the day and looking forward to just having that time away now and sitting back and reflecting on what we've actually achieved.
How much was there a sense of belief beforehand that this indeed was achievable, that somewhere along the line in that game between Switzerland in Poland that there would be a slip-up?
Yeah, I think throughout the campaign we've always had that confidence in ourselves that we could make it. Up until the last two games, Switzerland hadn't dropped a point, and they've went and dropped 5 in the last 2 games. But after the home game last week, we seen the celebrations for the Swiss team afterwards. They were celebrating like they were going to the World Cup, and for that it almost just kind of riled us. Being Scottish anyway, we don't like to be underdogs, but we knew that the Poland game over there for them was going to be a really difficult one. Off the back of the games that we had against Poland, there were no pushovers. They're a really strong, difficult side to beat. So we always had that confidence that if we could do our own job and stick to the task, there was always that glimmer of hope that they would drop something. Yeah,
I've got to ask you, I mean, there's a starting 11, there's a squad, there's 23 of you there. Is there a real feeling that there's quality rippling right through from 1 to 23 that can play a part in France?
Yeah, definitely, and I think even over and above that, there's probably a couple of players in the fringe just now that it could be part of the 23. So Shelley's definitely got a lot of big decisions to make. The players are very much together in what we do, and it's been that way all through the campaign. Everybody's just looking forward to the next kind of 8 or 9 months ahead now, in the hope that we can all push on and actually get there and be at the finals. And as a player, it's your responsibility to take that upon yourself to make sure you give the manager a headache in the build up to that and hope that you can be there.
Yeah. I mean, Barry, we long for a major finals as far as the men are concerned, but we are really at a point in history where these women are pioneers for something that, you know, in many years to come, you know, the girls will look back and think this is where it all started.
Yeah, it's a fantastic achievement to go to a World Cup. Obviously, I keep a close eye on it. Obviously, Leanne working with yourself and us. So, no, she'll be disappointed that she's not played the last couple of games, which would be normal, but what a fantastic achievement to go to the World Cup. It's something that I would love to have done when I played with Scotland, even to get a Euros, but to get to a World Cup, that's the pinnacle for me.
Yeah, and Ruffy, you've been to 3 World Cups. We always have a laugh about it. But what advice would you give to Leanne when she's possibly going to France with her teammates?
Oh, I think it's actually good for this. It's actually good for the show that next year there'll be 2 of us. I've been to World Cups and Barry's not been. No, it's a fantastic.
I might go next year and watch Leanne.
Oh, I mean, we've got to go, Ruffy, and support
her. Oh, it's
her.
fantastic. France will be great. No, it's a tremendous occasion when you get there. It's as Barry said. I mean, he's really serious. I mean, Barry's played at the top club level, done it all, European football, but he knows every footballer wants to get to a World Cup final. I mean, there's there's loads and loads of players, and have never ever, great players have never been to World Cup finals.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, you know. And 4,500 supporters last week at St Mirren. That just shows you, you know, that how much it's grown now, and young kids are all getting involved. And it can only help, you know, the future of the game, you know, because everybody wants to be part of a winning side.
What I've noticed is with the women's game, certainly over the last couple of years, there's been a big, people been more interested in it, and obviously the national team doing well, and obviously the team that Anne plays with, Glasgow City, been involved in the Champions League as well. So there is a lot more interest in it, and there's a lot more girls taking the game up, which is great.
Leanne, I've seen the improvement through the years. Correct me if I'm wrong here, that most of the teams last night are all playing not abroad and down south, whereas before it was just the club football here. But now they're all playing with top clubs. And
I think that's a credit though to the way the football's developed within Scotland as well now, that we've actually developed players to a level now that, similar in the men's game, you know, English clubs, teams in Europe are actually coming and cherry picking the best players and taking them, you know, away from Scotland, which was difficult in the sense that it lessens the competition up here. But for the national team, we've certainly benefited for the fact that girls are now playing in that professional environment, and certainly getting to World Cups and European Championships. It's that level you need to be playing at in order to perform.
Yeah, I've got two quick questions to ask you. But first of all, let's look, I mean, at the celebrations. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic in the dressing room. I mean, that's mental. What was it like in there?
It was crazy. The girls are obviously, we've come in and enjoyed it. I think we enjoyed the moment on the pitch as well. A couple of us were waiting at the side, and the girls on the pitch didn't actually know what the result was in the other game and stuff, so you had mixed emotions. There was a few of them that were crying, which obviously they've taken pelters for that today. But
I'm a wee bit disappointed. I don't see any champagne flowing about there. Celebration.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing about it is you're in that 50-50 where you think to yourself, do you really expect Switzerland to drop the points? Because I think they were favourites, so you start to think, well...
But they're celebrating at that time, so they know what's happening, so... Yeah,
you think somebody would have brought champagne.
Backroom team, come on, let's sort it out. Yeah. You've got to celebrate, that's something you've got to properly go and enjoy the night, because, you know what, a lot of people will never get the chance to play in a World Cup final, so go and make the most of it and enjoy the occasion. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ruffy, sometimes you celebrated before you kicked off in the match.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We certainly did celebrate after, as Barry said, there's time in your career when you don't get a chance to celebrate, so every time you get the opportunity to have it.
What advice would you give to Leanne, though, when it all goes pear-shaped and we don't win a game in France? Will you be waiting at the airport to give her pelters?
No, I just think if you're good enough to get there, you enjoy every minute of it, and it doesn't matter. Oh, you want to win, obviously, but... you have to take the disappointment and they come.
The reality is as well...
Then you've got the pool money.
At least you're being honest, Ruffy. Why be diplomatic?
Yeah, absolutely. What about the squad as far as... I always feel as if listen, getting there, great, brilliant. The girls will have ambitions. You've got ambitions. Is there a special player? Are there special players in there that you think they've got to be in that starting 11 that they can help us?
I think for a long time we've always depended on a couple of individuals. I mean, I know Kim Little, she scored yesterday again, and she is a fantastic player for us. But again, there's loads of girls coming through now that impact in the games. Lizzie Arnott, she's just moved from Hibs down to Man United, so it'll be interesting to see how she develops again over the next 6 or 7 months, along with other girls that are now at Arsenal and elsewhere. So it's not just about 1 or 2 players now, which is fantastic for the squad. And again, I think that brings everybody as a team closer together as well, because it's not just about certain individuals.
Yeah, and the great thing about the PR from it, I mean, listen, we don't need to pander to the women's game since the day in our we've had this programme, roughly 5 or 6 years. You know, we can rhyme off the amount of the girls who've been on this programme, whether they were talking about Champions League football or just indeed league football onto the international level. It's just great that we see them progress, and they'll get even stronger in my view. But Barry, in a strange sort of way, the achievements of Scotland's women, suddenly the men start to look at it and think, surely there's a chance.
Well, they need to step up now, so they're under pressure, because the women's team has went and qualified, and deservedly so. So now it's up to the men. I think the men have And the squad, it's a good enough squad for me to go and real challenge to get into a major finals. I look at some of the players like Callum McGregor, Kieran Tierney, Andy Robertson, guys who for me can play at the top level of football and play at any top team for me. So we've got to be looking at qualifying. There's no doubt in my mind, because I think we've got a good enough team to go and do it.
Wouldn't it be great, Ruffy, if we've got the Women's World Cup 2019, then suddenly 2020, we're thinking about a major finals?
Yeah, and as Barry touched on, there's a lot of young players in that squad just now. You know, okay, they've got time in their hand, but it'd be great. And Leanne will tell you, once you get qualifying to finals like Europeans and that, the confidence you get for that when you, excuse me, when you come back, you know, you just feel invincible. You know, you're not going into games with apprehension because you've played against better sides, better players, and then you're coming back. And then you're just kicking on, so we really need to qualify.
Let me ask you this then, you know, we've talked about it from a collective, we've talked about it for the incentive. What about yourself? You're a determined player, you're still playing at one of the top clubs in Scotland. You must have a sense of confidence that you, in your own ability and what you can do. You have to try and force your way in there. That's the incentive of France. Yeah,
no, definitely. Throughout my career, I've always kind of base my performances against myself. It's the only person that I can compete against. At the end of the day in football, it's a game of opinions and you can't control a team selection. All you can do is make sure that everything that you do from day to day ticks all the boxes and the criteria in order to be a professional player and performing at the highest level. And that's something that I'll continue to do, along with all the girls. And, you know, you can't take anything for granted in football, and obviously Barry and Ruffy will both know that as well. Anything can happen in a short space of time, but for me it's the excitement. It is now almost the stigma's gone at not getting to a World Cup. As much as a nation we go on about the guys not getting there, as the women's team, we hope that now, you know, inspires another generation. Hopefully the guys do qualify and we get there, and as a nation we can support each other. And for me, being Scottish, there's nothing more you want to do than represent your country, and it's one of the proudest moments that you can have in football, and to do that at a World Cup, you don't need any more motivation than that to kind of keep you going.
Yeah. Now, last question on this. Which camp do you fall into? Do you fall into the Barry who only keeps a couple of special strips that have stuck in his mind that he's kept, or do you fall into the Ruffy camp where you go possibly to France, play against some of the best players and swap the best strips, because the big man had Zico's and various other strips along the way? Which camp are you falling into?
No, I keep my own tops, to be honest. I'm never too fussed about.
There you go. There you go.
I know some of the girls like to keep that as their memories of the players that they've played against, but for me there's always been, you know, moments in my career that it's, you know, like the Euros when my family and friends were there watching, and that probably means more to me to keep the shirt that I wore. And I think I might have actually donated one of my tops to you, but
it's on the
don't
wall
see it on display.
It's on the wall next to Ferguson's and Ruff's Maracana 19.
Really?
What year was that? 77, Ruffy?
77, but when you get to World Cups you get two jerseys. You know, you get one in Scotland and one in
Aye, we get that when we played in qualifying games.
Don't bite. He's just reeling you in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
But do you know what? It's the best thing. I always kept my strips with the games I played in, and I always pinned a wee note on it who I was playing against.
Yeah.
Obviously the team and some of the players. So I always go back in and look at some of them.
Toughest player you've ever played against internationally?
That's a good question. Probably Pirlo.
I was just going to say that.
I was thinking that.
Pirlo.
I thought he was magnificent, wasn't he?
Oh, unbelievable.
Did you have him in your pocket, Barry? Is that what you're about to say?
I did at Hampden,
He did over there as well. We were at that game.
To your credit, I thought...
Lost the game.
Do you know what game are you talking about?
The one when Pirlo scored the free kick.
Yeah, I thought you were magnificent in that game as well.
We came through at the same time, obviously the same age. We played against each other under 21s, him and Mino. But Pirlo at that stage wasn't a central midfielder. Yeah. He was a wide right, but a fantastic player. Great passer of the ball. He just strolled about, like long hair and
looked the part as well.
He looked all right.
His book is exceptional. We should read it. you know.
Barry got a mention of it?
Eh?
Did Barry get a mention?
No, there wasn't a mention of Barry at all or any. to be fair, he only mentioned the times he was on the ball. You're getting a pasting tonight. By the way,
Friday, I'm looking forward to Friday.
Have you written a book?
Aye, but it's for charity.
Yeah, but did you have an autobiography out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously
Keep
saying
that
you
in
never
mind,
read
by the way.
it.
There's some great stories ahead for yourself. You've got to keep these things in mind. Okay, listen, I think I speak for everybody on the football show. I think I speak for everybody who watches this programme and right across the nation. The feel-good factor, everybody wants you to do well. I personally hope you and the rest of the girls go to France and enjoy it. It's great for the country, and you are pioneers, and I think you'll be remembered for many a day. Let's hope you get there, and you get there, especially playing in the midfield area. Fingers crossed. I'll have a word with Shelley. She's coming on the programme. Okay, let's move on. Michael Devlin didn't win his appeal.
No,
So he misses the game against St Johnstone.
I've lost the plot now with all these appeals. I don't understand how they're coming to these decisions, and it obviously started right away back at the beginning of the season with Morelos for me. You know, when things like that happen, you've got to lay down the rule book. You've got to let everybody know what the standards are and what you can do and what you can't do. And I thought they just missed a trick there, because I think as the season goes on, there will be other instances, and then you have to sort of compare them against each other. And it's a tough one, really tough.
Do you think Mikey Devlin should have got a yellow, reduced to yellow?
I thought there was some jersey pulling going on before it. I also think there was an Aberdeen defender coming in. He had 40 yards to go to get into the box, you know, and there was a covering fullback coming across. So
Barry?
Soft.
Yeah.
Soft. I says on Monday, it's a yellow card for me. Brophy said a wee pull at him as well, and as Ruffy said, there's a defender covering basically in the same line as him, and he's got 40 yards in and goal. But do you know what? It just baffles me, this system.
Yeah. You in his camp?
Definitely. It's going to go on the whole season though, as Ruffy says. They've set the tone with the Morelos decision early on, and I think,
to be honest with you, Leanne, they've set the tone with Alan McGregor.
Yeah, I know. It's another one that's...
I mean, what's to stop Christopher Ayer? If Celtic were playing at Ibrox, let's just say, for example, they're winning by a couple of goals, and he thinks to himself, well, OK, they've set the precedent. I'll go up for a corner. If McGregor falls, I'll fall too, and I'll kick him. I'll get away with it.
I know, it's unacceptable.
It's not just them, Peter, it's any player. It's any player in any game can now, if he thinks there's a wee bit of injustice going about, at the end of it, just saying, when he thinks he's off camera or off what, and the referee, you have this.
Who's watching these videos? The boy Gary Dicker at Kilmarnock, the one that we looked at. If somebody actually watches that a second time, it's a yellow card. He's not even showing studs.
And that surely is the point of the panel, because the referees, they don't see everything, and there is sometimes that grey area in normal play. It can look very different, but if you're actually slowing it down and you're watching it again and you're still coming up with that same decision, it is baffling.
Yep, absolutely. OK, there's a row just bubbling along nicely at the moment down Capello way. This is, of course, the Morton chairman, Crawford Ray's hit back at Falkirk's Ray McKinnon, who had a press conference and explained the situation of how he wanted to be able to speak to Falkirk to hear what they had to say, and then lo and behold, boom. You know, he's no longer thinking about the game against Partick Thistle. He's off to become the Falkirk manager. You know, Crawford Ray is basically saying, listen, it's in breach of contract, both him and his assistant, and we want a six-figure sum of compensation. Now, you know what it's like? I don't think contracts these days are worth the paper they're written on, but should Ray McKinnon be painted as the villain? I think they had him as Judas in the local Greenock paper. I mean, I hope he's not going down for a ferry down that way, because you're in big trouble.
Well, if he's going down to Capello for the next game, I'm sure he'll know all about it. No, I spoke to Crawford on Saturday at the game, and I think it was the timing of everything. It was, he'd taken the team in the morning, he'd done the team talk, he'd organised corners, free kicks, everything. Said cheerio to him in the car park. Next minute he finds out he's at Falkirk. So I think for that point of view, he's every right to be a wee bit miffed about the whole situation. And I think it's a lack of communication. I don't think anybody from Falkirk actually phoned and asked for permission. So I think it was the way the whole thing's been handled, and certainly the Morton fans won't forget it.
Ray McKinnon said in his press conference yesterday that he had permission from Morton to go and speak to Falkirk in the afternoon. So I don't know what the Morton chairman he'll need to come out and say did he or didn't.
Yeah, I think he said he's not contesting that part of it. He's not contesting the part of where he was given permission. I think he's contesting the part after that, which is just basically they hand in their resignation. No compensation or anything has been agreed between either party. They're contracted to 2019. So, you know, there is that point where you start to say to yourself, well, you're taking our manager, let's sit down and talk about the money here before you get to the point of, by the way, I've resigned, we're off. You know, we're off to manage Falkirk. I think
the deal was done pretty quick.
I think Crawford wants protocol, you know, and a bit of courtesy between the two, and I think that's really what's miffed him on this one. Just a couple of things before we finish, and I'm talking about players that sometimes can be forgotten, or you wonder where they're going in their career. The window has shut. The Europa League squad. Celtic's got 3 players, Comper, Scott Allen and Daniel Arzani, who are not in it. Chris Davis says they've got to force their way into their plans. You know all about it yourself. And the Rangers, Lee Wallace is not in that squad, the Europa League squad. Jordan Rossiter and Jamie Murphy, to an extent, have picked up injuries here and there. But, you know, I just don't see them becoming part of it.
I know, I think it's a difficult one because I actually think with Wallace, he wasn't involved initially, is that right, at the beginning of the season, and then he was brought in and he was back out again. So it's a difficult one as a player because I'm sure Lee Wallace is at Rangers now and he's probably got the head down after the things that have happened last season. I don't doubt that he's working hard to get into the squad, but again, it's one of the, you know, if he's not in Gerrard's plans, it's not going to change anytime soon. And I think moving on the rest of the season, it's a difficult position for him to be in, to kind of keep himself motivated. And again, in and around a squad that are going to be now preparing for Europa League games, and he's not going to be part of that. I know Jamie Murphy's different, he is injured and he's out of things, so it's not quite the same impact as a player when you can't be part of it, but I think actually not being included is very difficult.
And the other one here, Ruffy, is Arzani is not quite up to match fitness. Well, that's fine, but they were trumpeting him as one of those signings. You know, this is suddenly a guy who's one of those signings of the very few that they made.
Yeah, the boys just come off a World Cup, you know, and then all of a sudden Man City's obviously said to him, look, we want you to go up there, get a wee taste of European football, you would think, and all of a sudden he's no part of the European
probably
football.
One of the biggest factors in him actually going to Celtic.
And the other one is Scott Allen. What's he thinking about? You know,
Scott Allen, for me, is a forgotten man. I think it's such a waste of a talent, and in the end, I wonder if he sits in a night, Barry, and wonders, was it the right move? It might be financially. Was it the right move going to Celtic?
Obviously financially it was good for him, but he's got to think himself now. He's a boy now that needs to go somewhere and go and play regular 2-3 seasons. Like Hibs last year, I thought he was fantastic when he went there on loan.
Yeah.
So he needs to really sit down and think, where's my career going now? Because there's no doubt he's got unbelievable talent, Scott Allen. I mean, you just had to watch some of the games he played last year for Hibs. I thought he was outstanding, but he really needs to sit down with whether it's his family or his agents and sort something out, because he needs to go and play.
Yeah, you always know when the clock is ticking on your career, Ruffy, as a manager, when the local paper, and I'm talking about the Evening Telegraph in Dundee, has a poll for the fans to pick who they'd like as the next manager. You know, Robbie Nielsen's come out on top at the moment with 28 votes. That's when you know you're in trouble.
That's a shocker, isn't it? I've never been in that position, but I can imagine as an individual and personally, you've got to deal with it, but it's something you wouldn't want to see in the papers.
Yeah, well, to be fair, by the way, I mean, you wouldn't get that in Glenafton. You've delivered the Junior Cup, you know, the world behind you.
That's what happens when you're successul. These things will happen to you.
There you are. And if you just have a chat with the big man, it's been his show. Everything's been right for him, apart from the fact that we are all here absolutely delighted that Leanne could join us off the plane in Edinburgh onto the show, and I'm sure I speak for everyone. Well done getting to France. From all the team here, thanks for watching.